My name's Richard Nicholls and I'm the ex-dive shop owner of Dive Centre Manly. I've been involved in the Manly diving scene for about the last 40 years. And there's a couple of things that really we're particularly proud of. One is the establishment of Shelly Beach as a no-take aquatic reserve and also a plastic initiative to remove plastic debris from the ocean. We're very fortunate here in Manly that right on our doorstep is Cabbage Tree Bay. It is a very unique area because even though we're on the eastern seaboard of Australia, the beach actually faces west, so it has great protection from most winds. It's also a very unique area because of that protection. It has some fantastic sea life. In the mid-90s, when we were diving, for example, at Shelly Beach, with all our instructors, as they dived around their guides, they'd pick up any plastic or any refuse on the bottom. We gave them little catch bags to do that. We also noticed that on some of the other sites that weren't dived as much, there was much larger amounts of plastic waste. So we just made a point of going to those sites, and when we went there, picking stuff up as we went. And we found also that the divers really embraced this too. So you'd be swimming along, you know, with your little group of divers, and you'd be picking up a few bits, and then someone else would pick up a few bits, swim over to you and put them in your bag. And then eventually we formalised this and we called it a thing called Dive for Debris. And then around about the late 90s, Paddy picked it up. They rebranded it as Dive Against Debris because they said we're not diving for it, we're actually diving against it. But the great thing about that wasn't so much the change of name, but it became an international project then. And now it's one of the largest citizen science projects in the world. We've got two sites that we use. One, of course, is one that's dived all the time, and that's, you know, Shelly Beach, Cabbage Tree Bay. The other one is in Manly Cove, and that's not dived as often. And it's a great comparison between the two, and you can see the real effect that if you have a site that's regularly visited by divers, how those divers can play a very active part in keeping that site clean. And if you have another site that isn't dived as often, that gives you a much truer reflection of what the rest of the harbour's like. To have Shelly Beach or Cabbage Tree Bay as a shining light of what you can do if you've just got the courage to say, we're going to protect this area. And it is a very small area. It's, you know, basically a couple of square kilometres. So it's, you know, less than 1% of Sydney's shoreline. But it's made such a major difference. And then, of course, Dive Against Debris just stands out as an amazing opportunity and an amazing initiative. And when we first started, we could have had no idea of the outreach of that. So, you know, to look at that now and see all these dive centres all over the world doing that, it's amazing. And around about 400,000 to 500,000 divers that get involved every year picking up plastic. And the great thing there is when you, for example, if we were to walk down now to Manly Cove and you look over the harbour, it just looks magnificent. I mean, even on a grey day like today, it looks fantastic. You look at that and you think there isn't a problem. The beach has been swept clean and there's a few bins around and there really isn't much rubbish. But if you go under the water, it's a completely different story because as stuff sinks, it literally disappears and it disappears from view. The world is a super big place now from a population perspective. But anything you can do is better than doing nothing. No, even if it's just, oh, well, I won't take that because it's covered in plastic, I'll take this instead, whatever. You know, even the tiniest thing is an important thing to do. And you shouldn't ever feel overwhelmed and you've got to do it all because it's all about lots of people doing little things that makes a big difference.